Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams. I'm the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. And if you are in this community, I want you to win. If you are in this space with us, then I know that you are a coach, possibly a consultant, and you want more. Now, whether you are full time in your business, part time in your business, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, wherever stage you are in your business, I hope to create a space where we can inspire, empower, and educate you on how to build your business and how to build it fast. And so, welcome. Happy Monday. We're all up in March. So, it's the first Monday of March. And so, of course, we have a new theme. And I'm going to be wearing a lot of green this month because I'm all about abundance. I'm going to be all about that cash this month. I'm going to be extra lucky, abundant, joy filled, cash grabbing, money making, life changing. That's the kind of energy, rich auntie situations that I'm bringing to March. Okay. So January and February were a nice little setup for what we're going to do in March. And so I've been thinking about this over the last couple days. I've had a lot of conversations, and we did a whole thing last week about perfect procrastination and how I'm seeing so many coaches and consultants spinning their wheels on busy work and coaching clients that are like, yeah, I need to do my podcast and I need to have an email list and I need to have all these things before I can actually coach clients, before I can actually get clients. And I don't want to reach out to people because I don't have those things. And so what I like to call our theme this month is March into Action. And so every week this month, I'm going to give you an action that you can build on. I want to give you an action that I want you to see you do every week in your business. And we're going to build kind of like a weekly KPIs, things that we need to do every week that will move our business forward. So I'm going to give it to you in bites, right? I'm going to give it to you in bites. I'm going to give it to you in a way that you can jump off of this live stream and go ahead and take action, right? So I want you to be able to take what we're discussing right here and execute on it. All right? So we're marching into action. And so we also have some really exciting stuff that I want to share with you. Backed by popular demand, in March 28th, we're going to be hosting the Six Figure Setup. We did it late December, I want to say. We did it December on how to make that game plan to make 100K plus in your coaching practice. And so we're bringing that back. So if you haven't already hit at least 25K in revenue in January, February, and March, I want you to really consider joining us for this workshop. We're going to focus in on what we need to do to make the latter half of the year align with that 100K plus that we're looking to make. So if mark your calendars, that's going to be March 28th, 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time. Y'all figure out the rest of the middle of the country. That's on y'all. That's on you. So I'll talk more about that. So the first action, when we're talking about marching into action, taking action that shortens the distance between you and the cash, right? If you have done any coaching with me, you know that I will pull you back from the ledge. When you're spinning off and you're talking about all these things you got to do, you got to write a whole book before you can get clients, or you have to do all these unpaid speaking events before you can get clients, or you have to launch a podcast to no listeners, or you have to have a newsletter to no subscribers. I want to talk about what we yell in our coaching practice, which is money making activities, right? So your first money making activity is all about connection. We call it touches, making contact, uh, with individuals, with actual people. This, when I say touches, making contact, um, connecting with people, I am not referencing a social media post. I am not referencing a newsletter that could go out to thousands of people. I am referencing individual communication. Okay. And so, why is this important? We don't control who's thinking about us, we don't control who needs us, we don't control when people say yes, we don't control when they get back to us, we don't control their circumstances, we don't control their availability, we don't control how busy their lives are. But what we control is our ability to show up. So, what do I mean? We control what I like to call number one, knocking over that first domino. We control starting the conversation. So if they're an ideal client and you haven't spoken to them in a while, if they match up with your client avatar, that platinum potential client that you want to work with, whatever you want to call it, you control that first domino. You control reaching out to start the conversation. You control that. You also control the follow up. So the follow up, right? So when we think about that first, so the first domino is initiating the conversation. And so we can have a deeper conversation about where you find these people and your lead generation mechanism. If you have 20, you meet 20 new people and you don't send them an email, you don't connect with them on LinkedIn, you don't follow up with them, you don't reach out to get time scheduled with them, you're missing a big opportunity, right? Because the what is going to drive your business forward is literally getting into the habit daily of making space to make contact, to connect with people, to send a follow-up note, to connect them, to connect them with a resource, to share some article with them. There's so many ways that you can stay in their inbox, stay in their text messages, stay in their DM, stay in their face. Because again, we don't control when they say yes. We don't control when they schedule that call. We don't control um we don't control their desire for coaching or their desire for your consulting services or whatever you provide. We control showing up. So I want you to make space this week and make space to knock over that first domino. And that first domino can simply be, hey, how you doing? I'm checking in, following up on our previous conversation. It's a new quarter. So like in the next couple weeks, you can talk about, hey, how was Q1 for you? You can tie it to something timely, or you can simply share a resource. So that we control that first domino. So like I want you to just kind of get in your mind that you have to initiate. You are in the driver's seat on this one. This is an action you can take. If you look back over the last couple weeks and you look at your results the last couple months, I want you to look at two things. How many people did you connect with? How many messages did you send? How many consultation calls did you host? And how many clients did you close? If you got a fast, if you have a goose egg on all of those, it's probably because you aren't doing this first piece of knocking that first domino over. That's what you control. Now, I'm not saying don't show up on social media. I'm not saying don't send out your newsletter. I'm not saying those things. But this requires the personal touch. And eventually you build out a team that will assist you in making that'll assist you in having that personal touch to your business where someone's reaching out to connect with potential clients, right? And so, but that's in our scope of control. That's in our scope of control. And so I want you to make up your mind that you are going to knock over that first domino. So I gave you 3 examples on how to do that. Just a hello. I like to send an email that's like subject line hello, and I literally say, hey, I'm just popping my head in. I'm doing that thing where I just pop my head in to say hello. I hope all is well on your end. Let's catch up for virtual coffee, and I give them a link to schedule some time. Or I'll follow up. Hey, we had a conversation. How did your event go? You were hosting an event on March 8th. How did your event go? Love to hear your key learnings. Let's chat soon. Or, hey, I'm following up on the proposal I sent you. Just would love to know if you need any additional information to make your next step. All right, resource giving. Love up on people. Let them know you know what you're talking about. I see an event that makes sense for someone in my network, whether they're a client or not. I send it around. I see a grant that's pretty easy and straightforward to apply to. I send it around. Right? Be a resource. So there's 3 different ways to initiate knocking over that first domino. And so knock over that first domino, right? As a coach or a consultant, you may not fancy yourself unless you actually are a sales coach. You may not fancy yourself a salesperson. But if you don't sell nothing, you don't make nothing. Right? You don't sell nothing, you don't make nothing. And so I want to encourage you to give yourself daily quotas. Give yourself a daily quota, right? Even if it's 2 people a day that you're going to connect with, 2 people a day over every day has a compound effect as opposed to not connecting with anyone. I would prefer those numbers be higher, but do it based on your schedule. If you're working full time, maybe you can't connect with 100 people a week. Maybe you can. Maybe when if you're taking the train to work and you're a commuter, you're commuting on the train, maybe you could tee up those messages. Maybe you could schedule things to go out. Maybe that's what you could do in front of the TV. Schedule some messages to go out the next day. You know? So give yourself a daily quota. So there's first we have to take responsibility for knocking over that first domino, and what that looks like depends on the relationship and the scenario, any history you may have with your contact, right? And then we have to do it enough that we have a return on that. So we have to give ourselves a quota, yeah, well, I want to have 3 consult calls booked a week. Well, how many people do I need to connect with to get those consultation calls? Is it 100? Is it 60? Which brings me to my next point. We knock over that first domino, we give ourselves a quota, and then we track it. Right? So the action is reach out, connect with individuals. You can, wherever you met them, whether that's online, send them a DM, email, send them a text message, call them. Oh, go old school and call them. But we control knocking over that first domino, and we could do that a number of different ways. And simply checking in works too, but we have to do that at scale to start the conversation so that we can extend the invitation to have a consultation call or a strategy session, a brainstorming session, whatever your practice calls it. We have to start the conversation to get those on the calendar. And so I want you to track how many people you touch base with. I want you to track how many people you invited to a call. I want you to track how many calls you have booked. And that will all lead you to tracking how many new clients you have. So if you aren't doing part A, you're not knocking over that first domino, you're not going to see you're not going to have a lot of invitations going out. You're not going to have a lot of consultation calls on your calendar. Now, I want to speak to the folks that are buying ads and paying for funnels and all of that good stuff. Yes, do that. There's still some follow-up you have to do to make sure their appointments stick, but let us never give up on organic outreach. While we can have these scalable interactions, we can have these really sophisticated funnels. I still want you to have that hybrid of organic and automated. One shift in the algorithm, your ads that work today may not work tomorrow, right? We're seeing platforms are changing, algorithms are changing across the board in social media. And so what worked today may not work tomorrow, but I guarantee you this hand-to-hand combat, this making contact, that never goes out of style. It's always in fashion and it always gets results. It's making the space to do it in a way that you will actually have scalable results. So I want to encourage you to really, 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 this is an action that you can start implementing today. As soon as this live stream ends, you can take action right now. Dr. Chanel, I saw you, Dr. Chanel. I'm talking to you. How many people are you going to reach out to? How many people are you going to connect with today? Right? Sister Aziz, I see you. I see you. How many people you going to connect with today? I see you. Lucille, I'm talking to you too. How many people you going to connect with today? This is something you can literally close out of Facebook right now and reach out to several people that align with your ideal client without having to do any lead generation. You have people in your network right now that would love to hear from you. You don't have to buy a single ad. You don't have to you don't have to put together some thought-provoking newsletter. You don't have to show up on LinkedIn in a way that you're an influencer. You don't have to do all that right now. Call somebody, text somebody, DM somebody. Okay, 7, I see you. I'm following up tomorrow. And if you're looking for a guide, what's a guide? What makes sense? Just know this. Takes 100 leads to get conservatively takes 100 leads to get one new client. Conservatively. Your numbers might be different, right? And if you employ the power of 10, that if you take one action 10 times, you'll get a result. I want you to think about 10 people a day. If you reach out to 10 people a day, at least one of them gonna book. You might get lucky and get 2 or 3. All right, Lucille, 30. I'm checking in today. So, you know what I mean? So at minimum, try to hit 10. Right? Because this is all about that compound effect. They might not say yes today, but they may say yes next week. Right? We're always planting seeds. We're always planting seeds. And so our job, what we control, is that first domino. We control starting the conversation, following up, being a resource, staying on their mind. One of my mentors used to say, when it comes to following up and your network and all that your fortune is in your follow-up. But if you stand along the beach long enough, you gonna get wet, right? If you stand right next to the water, you've all been on a beach. You stand right on the sandy shore. You stand up next to the shore long enough, you're gonna get wet. The same thing. If you keep touching people, you keep touching base, you keep reaching out, you keep showing up and serving, you keep staying on their mind, they're gonna get wet. They're gonna want something from you eventually. Some of our biggest, best clients right now have been in my circle of influence for 3 to 5 years before they pulled the trigger on coaching. That's why we have to stay planting. Because some people are a easy, quick, fast yes. Some people are a slow yes. Some people are a slow no. But that's why we always have to control what we can control, which is taking that action, connecting, contacting somebody, making a touch, reaching out. We control that. We control that. And that doesn't require algorithm. You don't have to worry about the algorithm. You ain't got to worry about what your hair look like. You don't have to worry if your makeup is okay. Most of the time, ain't nobody gonna see you while you're doing this. You can do this while you're sitting in the doctor's office in the waiting room. You could do some outreach. You could do this on your lunch break if you got your list in front of you. If you are not driving and you are commuting to work via train, bus, or carpool, you can do this in your commute. I'm giving you all the stuff I used to do when I was working full time. Um, you could do this in the evenings and schedule them to go out during the business day. You can real easy with Gmail. You can schedule an email. You can schedule text messages on iPhone and Android. So if you got a time between 11:30 p.m. and 12 a.m. to do your outreach, schedule all of that stuff to go out the next day at a decent hour. I'm debunking all of the excuses not to do it. And you don't have to wait for your website to be done. You don't have to wait until you have 20,000 plus downloads on your podcast. You don't have to wait until your LinkedIn is perfect. You don't have to worry about what your job will say or won't say. They're not going to see this correspondence. Shorten the distance between you and the catch and go ahead and reach out and connect with somebody. So I say all that to say I cannot leave this call. I cannot leave this call without extending the invitation to book a strategy session. If you are unsure on what all this looks like, the money making activities that is going to march you into action, that is going to yield an outcome that is revenue based for your business, I want you to book a strategy session. And stop playing. We're a third of the way through the year. Do you want the end of 2023 to look the same as it did or worse than 2022? I don't want that for you. It's not too late to recommit. It's not too late to take inspired action to move things forward. That's up to you to decide. So go ahead and book a strategy session at successbully.com/call. Successbully.com/call. And a friendly reminder, you're going to see a lot of this from us. But in the spirit of marching into action, if you've made less than 25K in January, February, and March, go ahead and book, join us for the six-figure setup. We're going to talk about a strategy and a game plan. We're going to break it down into pieces so that you can hit that six-figure mark before the end of the year. So I'll put the link in the comment section, but also stand by for other posts around it. It will be limited seats because we want everyone to get their personal attention, and we will be adding a little bit of speed networking into the event so you can connect with other folks outside of the call. Once again, I am Keita Williams, and I am dead ass passionate about this point. You don't need all that stuff. You don't need all that stuff to make money in your coaching business. You don't need to wait until something is perfect. I'm telling you the actions. I'm suggesting the actions. I'm imploring you to take action. Don't worry about your website. Don't worry about your funnel. Don't worry about your newsletter. Don't worry about your podcast. Don't worry about TikTok choreography. Don't worry about any of that. Reach out and connect with your ideal client. Send them a note. Send them a text message. Call them. DM them. Get in front of them. All right, y'all. I need to stop because I'm on one today. Let's get after it.